the infinite universe, and how ceremony and ritual could work to influence a desired outcome. So first up, I should say that this is entirely my own personal view. It's been formed over a number of years, studying various forms of mysticism and religious belief systems. Obviously, nobody has a proven model or definitive proof of how the universe is structured. So these are just theories and hypotheses. So why then do I want to have this discussion? I'm just one of those people that need to be able to see how things work before I can accept them. I just was never one to be able to accept things on face value. 2 + 2 = 4 was never enough for me. And so fuzzy concepts such as becoming one with divinity, well, they may be true, but it really doesn't lend itself much into giving a feasible explanation of how ritual and ceremony can work from a practical perspective. So then this is an attempt to rationalize how ritual can work by bringing together the common elements that I've seen and learned throughout the years from doctrines such as the Kabbalah and Hermetic law. Ultimately, in simplistic terms, these doctrines all point to a principle of working within attained levels of consciousness, and the belief that the individual, through the subconscious mind, has the capability to affect the greater sea, if you like, of the universal subconscious in which we all live. So before we can delve into the mysterious effects of ceremony and ritual, we need to first understand and examine the concept and the structure of the universe from a ceremonial magician's perspective. So let's just jump straight in there and look at the structure of the universe. So everything in the universe, when broken down, is raw energy. Every material object can be broken down to atoms, subatomic particles, and eventually raw energy. Everything in the universe, material or not, is energy. Thought, intellect, emotion, they're all forms of energy, and energy is the source of everything. So then this iteration then defines the infinite nature of the universe. So let's develop that concept a little further, the infinite universe. If we accept everything is energy when broken down, and everything is created of energy, and we accept energy exists within the universe in all possible states and material manifestations, thereby forming the universe as we know it. This then is infinity. We start with energy, it takes on various forms and states, and eventually it will decay or is broken down, and it will revert back to its original state of raw energy. So then we have the infinite circumference of a circle analogy. There is no start, there is no end, there's just raw energy, which exists in various states and manifests itself into the material and immaterial, which in turn is again composed of raw energy. So now that we have an understanding of the structure of the universe, let's look at a Kabbalistic construct, the Tree of Life. Now, the Tree of Life, in simplistic terms, can be seen as a schematic of the universe. The Tree of Life consists of 10 Sephiroth, and those Sephiroth depict, amongst other associations, levels of consciousness, awareness or states of mind that directly correlate with the various levels and manifestations of the fabric of the universe. This then provides a map of associations that enables the individual to place their minds into the correct state of consciousness that will allow them to interact within the universal subconscious and to focus their intent on the desired outcome. Most systems, if not all, intentionally or not, use the same concept of levels of consciousness and states of awareness to focus their intent and drive that intent to manifestation onto the material plane. So, where does ceremony and ritual fit into all of this? Well, ceremony and ritual are extremely powerful tools, and they help the individual to obtain the desired state of consciousness and to build up an immense store of energy, which they can then inject into the part of the universal subconscious in which they are working. And then, by defined mechanisms, drive it through to manifestation onto the material plane. So what's this universal subconscious I keep talking about? If we accept the universe consists entirely of energy in various states, we may think of it, for reasons of simplicity, as a giant sea in which everything exists and everything is composed of the raw elements which make up this sea. So, like organisms that exist within the sea, we are all connected by the raw elements which make up this sea. In our case, those elements are raw energy, which form levels of consciousness and awareness and various states of manifestations onto the material plane. This suit that connects us all may then be thought of in some part to be the universal subconscious to which we are all connected. So we know making motions in any part of the sea can cause ripples or waves or even currents, which then can affect the whole of the sea. And so, making motions within the shared subconscious likewise has a similar effect within the universal subconscious. So continuing on this analogy of ripples and currents, we have seen how tapping into certain parts of our own subconscious can affect the whole. Just like the ripples in the sea analogy. Ritual and ceremony are tools that can help to create the right frame of mind to work within the desired part of the universal subconscious. A chosen ceremony or ritual places a person into a state of consciousness that he considers is appropriate to achieve his chosen outcome. Now, gods and spirits and other phenomena that you may hear spoken of in mystical circles may be seen as natural phenomena in this model, just as waves and currents are in our sea analogy. They are forms of energy that have the power to move and manipulate subordinate forms of energy, just as a strong current within the sea, some of which are well known and predictable and have known outcomes and are named. A person of knowledge may call upon the names of gods and spirits or other entities that exist within their belief system to help to turn those ripples into waves, or use those strong currents to direct the energy to the final goal. So this model may seem complicated. I agree, it's certainly ambitious, but it really is a simplified model to rationalize how ceremony and ritual can work within our own subconscious, and in turn affect the universal subconscious. Ritual is capable of influencing the thought process, which in turn can produce positive or negative psychological effects. We can alter the direction of our futures and can certainly change the environment around us. We've all seen this when we've been in a gloomy frame of mind and just had a day when absolutely nothing went right, or we've seen the complete opposite, where we've just been in such a good frame of mind, happy, and not a thing could go wrong. This is only an outline of the whole. There's also the belief of what is above, then so below. And we see this with the infinite iteration of raw energy of which the entire universe is composed. This explains the concept of divinity in everything, whether living creature or inanimate object, whether on this plane of existence or another. The raw energy of the universe is within everything. And within this concept of infinity and divinity within, then we are also the creators. and are the creators of our own universe. So we can direct its future if we know how. And the only thing that stops us achieving our wants are our own personal demons, which torture us all every day, and the conflicts that we have with others who are also shaping their own future. So having tools that allow us to focus our intent provide us with a distinct advantage in getting where we need to go. So I'll just leave you with this last thought. Science has already validated certain aspects of this model. 100 years ago, if I told someone that the chair they were sitting on consisted entirely of things called atoms, and I described those atoms, they would think I was crazy. Today we know about atoms. We know about subatomic particles. We know of energy, and there's probably a whole lot more in this model that science is pretty sure about, but cannot claim to be true because they currently have no evidence to prove it. So with that thought, I will leave you to contemplate your own future and your own destiny, and I hope that you can use this information to help look after our own little sensitive and creative bubble that we call our planet, and help to make it a better place for all. Without it, our current little universe will cease to exist, and it will be back to the primordial soup for us all.